Hi, I'm going to be doing a little Q&A today. I asked over on Instagram if you had any questions, travel related, or even just like more my personal life. And I have the questions here. I'm going to answer them. So let's get into it. This is going to be a weird one. There's some funny questions in here. Let's start off with like a nice easy one. What's given you the worst food poisoning? I know exactly what it is. I don't even need to think about it. When I was in Cambodia in 2022, I had this cheesecake from an arts cafe in Kampot. And I was there, I had some like curry as well. All my friends and I like had the same curry because it was like a good one. And then we all had different desserts. So I had a cheesecake and they had whatever they had. And later on, my stomach started feeling horrible. I thought, oh, maybe my skirt's on too tight. You know when you have like tight clothing on and it gives you a stomach ache? I thought maybe it was that. Because we rode out on our bikes to this crab market. And I think I had to like pay someone to use their toilet. And like, oh my God, it was just awful. And I think, okay, this isn't because of my skirt, this is something I've eaten. And you know when you get those like real bad cramps, like, oh, it's horrible. It was like that. So I'm like trying to power through it and it's beating me. And I think maybe like later on that day I start feeling like more side effects of the food poisoning. So not just the cramps now and not just the sore stomach, but I'm like feeling like headache. I'm getting like nausea. I feel like, you know, when you're dizzy and just feel really run down and sick. So I was resting. And then the next day we're due to check out. I thought I was gonna vomit. I thought I was gonna like have diarrhea. So I went to the toilet and yeah, I vomited and yeah, it was awful. And then when I went back to my bed, I went to wash my hands. And as I was there, like at the sink, washing my hands, like everything just started to disappear. And I had my hands in front of me like this and I just couldn't see them. And I remember there was like a spare toilet roll sat by the side of the sink and it just like turned grey and then disappeared. And I just couldn't see anything. I felt like I was in like the metaverse or something. I felt like I was in another universe. And so I was like, right, trying to feel my way back to the bed, back through the bathroom into the room. And I sat down. I knew it was my bed because I could feel my microfiber towel like hanging over the bed. I sat down and I said to the guy I was with, I was like, I can't see anything. And I don't even know if I was looking at him. He said I was looking at him but not like at him. And he said I looked really strange and pale. And I was like, I can't see anything. I can't see you. He was like, what do you mean? Is it blurry? I was like, no, I can't see. And then things started coming back, but like red colour, like it was all bloody. It was really strange. And then my vision came back and it was just like horrible. So I just went to sleep. I lay down, went to sleep, and I think like he was trying to comfort me. And yeah, that's the worst travel story. That's the worst food poisoning I've ever had. Right, next. What got you into being a content creator? Okay, well, I started a fashion blog when I went to USA. I went to the US. I had this massive suitcase with me. I was like really into fashion back then. And I was like going around and I had like all these like different outfits, like blazers and dresses and like looking really nice. And while I was around there, me now, I focus on the travel side of things, but back then I was just like, yeah, look at this outfit. I'm in like Beverly Hills. Like, look at this outfit. I'm in Vegas. And so that's where I started with my content creation, was through traveling. And I was doing that for a few years, but after I started in 2018, and then in 2020 when COVID hit, I kind of like stopped content creation because, you know, you weren't even allowed out. How was I going to do some photo shoots? I think I did do some indoors, but it just wasn't the same. And at the same time, I realized that I was just feeding into the fast fashion industry. So I thought, no, I don't want to do this. So I guess like throughout COVID, kind of stopped with the content creation. But then when I went to Italy in 2021, I think it was October time, that's when I started just posting like regular content, but while I was in Italy, and everyone was replying to my stories like, oh my gosh, you're doing that yourself, like you're solo traveling, that's so cool. And I guess I kind of like transitioned my fashion followers to my travel followers, and then I kind of grew my travel account from there. So yeah, and I found it really fulfilling, like helping people to go and like solo travel, even though that's not what they originally followed me for. Yeah, it kind of just all stemmed from there. So fashion, then travel. Next country you're gonna visit. I love the idea of like traveling around New Zealand in a van, getting a camper van, camping up by the beach, you know, just driving out wherever you want and just like, yeah, like making your own food there, like super cozy, listening to the sound of the ocean while you are like traveling. That is something that I want to do. Someone's asked me this question: would you perform as a magician's assistant, and if so, which illusion would you most like to assist in? First of all, yes, because I'm a very, have you seen Yes Theory? It's like another YouTube creators group of friends. I love new things, I love new challenges. I don't really like saying no to a challenge, which is actually why I ended up accidentally climbing a mountain, but that's another story. Would I perform as a magician's assistant? Yes, I would. I quite like the idea of teleportation.
Just leave me out of this.
But that's not really a magician thing to do though, is it? That's more like superpower. If I had a superpower, I could just teleport back to Australia and not have to worry about flight times or like how expensive plane tickets are. I could travel for free. It would be so good. Like now, if I wanted to go to the airport, like I wouldn't need to get a taxi to the airport. I could just teleport there. But then I guess I wouldn't even need to go to the airport because I could just teleport to wherever I need to be. Teleport to Tesco, then teleport to the till once I've picked up my cheese, and then teleport home. But then that will kind of just make things boring, wouldn't it? I like going for a walk. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent. If I was a magician's assistant, then maybe a disappearing act, because I'm good at that anyway. If you see me, I'll be in England. Next thing you know, check my Instagram story and I'm in Portugal. Next thing you know, I'm in Australia. Yes, disappearing acts for me. Can you give us a brief overview? What was/is your profession? Where are you from? Okay, so this is a bit of a tricky one to answer. I don't really have like a set profession. I want to make YouTube my full-time career, travel, like adventure content. If you want to help support me in doing that, then please join my membership and you can get exclusive content, join me personally behind the scenes, and you know, join my exclusive community, see a bit of a peek into my life. Yeah, I want to make travel adventure like my full-time career. Before I left the UK, so 2.5 years ago, I was doing marketing. So I started off doing social media management, and then I went on to like, I did also copywriting, writing our blogs, and then I took on some more responsibility, so managed the content calendars and like collaborations with other brands, influencers as well, although we didn't do many of those. And I also took on the email marketing, which I actually really enjoyed. I would like plan out the email flows and like be like, right, they have this email, and then like after a week they'll get this email and I'll design it all, and you know, like coming up with the concepts and like the reasons why, and inspirational versus promotional emails. I thought it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. So it was quite difficult leaving that job because I enjoyed it so much, but I knew that I was going to go and do something better, which was traveling. Since I've been in Australia, I've done a lot of hospitality work. So when I was in Brisbane, I worked in like a cocktail bar, also worked in the hostel to get free accommodation, which was great because I lived in the city. And so I think the going rate at one point, it was like $90 a night for dorm room, so like a bunk bed in a dorm. $90 a night, that's crazy expensive. So I was very fortunate to have a job there, working housekeeping, living there for free. Then I went to rural Queensland and did working in a bar there for 9 months, which was crazy. That's a crazy story in itself. But yeah, working in a mining town. And then I went to the Whitsundays and started working on a sailboat. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I guess you could say I was a sailor. So I guess to summarize, that was a lot of explanation. You could say marketer, content creator, YouTuber, podcaster, bartender, saleswoman, waitress, sailor, housekeeper. Let's make this 10. What else have I done? Blogger. There's 10 jobs that I do. Right, next question. What's your type? Okay, we'll get into this then, shall we? My type in a partner, I would look for someone who is intelligent, adventurous, kind, ambitious as well. I want someone that has like goals that they want to achieve in life. Mixed race. not necessarily mixed race, but cultured. I really appreciate that in a person. Someone who can cook, oh my gosh, the dream. Ideally, I will be with like an entrepreneurial chef. That will be great. Yeah, do you know what? Like, I don't think I have high standards, but apparently I do because nobody fits that criteria. But anyway, let's move on. My love life is not that interesting. Oh, okay, here's a good one. What was the driving force of leaving the UK? Well, we could go on this, but I'll try and keep it short. If you want more detail of me answering this question, then I'll put a link to my podcast episode. This was actually my very first episode of Destination Happiness. It was called like Rock Bottom, from Rock Bottom to Traveling the World. So I talk about it in more detail on there. But in summary, I had been in an 8-year relationship since high school. And you know, we were together for like, you know, we met each other because we were at school together, but I think as we grew older, we realised that, you know, we wanted different things from life, but I still wanted to make things work with him. So I was kind of like sacrificing my own wants to be with somebody else, which I would not recommend. We ended up getting a house together. Luckily, it was rented because with COVID, our mortgage fell through. After 3 weeks of living in that place with him, I just realised that I wasn't happy, and I thought maybe us living together would make me happy. It would like things that were going wrong in our relationship, but they just didn't. And yeah, I decided to break up with him after 8 years, and it was really difficult for me. I remember the conversation I said to him, I was like, look, you are like chocolate. I love chocolate, but chocolate's not good for me, so I need to cut chocolate out of my life. I said that. He was upset. I was upset. It was an upsetting time. Anyway, so fast forward, I think I was trying to like make things better for the 9 months after that. I was in a real bad place. I started seeing this other guy, which I didn't intend on doing, but we just got along really well, and that kind of like didn't go very well. So yeah, it wasn't good. Fast forward to October 21, that's when I went to Italy by myself, or maybe it was November. Yeah, I went to Italy by myself for a week. I ended up having all those people messaging me about like solo traveling, and it kind of just like one of the first times that I felt fulfilled was by helping other people travel, even though like I wasn't an expert in it or anything. I was just someone that had been solo traveling, so I guess that kind of gave me some credibility. So yeah, that was November. Then come New Year, I got COVID, so I had to quarantine at home for 2 weeks, and I thought I'm gonna use this time, because I can't go out, I'm gonna use this time to create a blog, which is now explorewithsoph.com, and I started writing about my time in Italy on there because I just loved helping people. Anyway, when it came to like my last day of quarantine, I thought, I don't want to go back to work. I don't want to go and work for a company that doesn't appreciate me. I want to do this. Like, I felt like it was calling me to like go and pursue this travel blog, Explore with Soph. And so I handed my notice in on the 17th of January and served a month's notice. And then on the 28th of February, I took a one-way flight to Bali and never was I to be seen again. So that's kind of like how it all began. And I guess what I was really looking for, you know, I wasn't happy, and I just wanted to go and live. I wanted to go and explore the world. I wanted to stop trying to survive, trying to find happiness in England, in my job, or like in relationships, because nothing was serving me anymore. I was just so down in the dumps, and I just needed to go and figure out things. So yeah, I wanted to live rather than survive. Oh, I forgot to say where I'm from. I'm from Brighton in the UK, which is in the south. It's a city in the south. Yeah, Brighton. What's your primary reason for moving to Australia? Okay, well, I'll try and keep this quick. I had already travelled in Australia in 2017. I spent 2 months travelling the East Coast with my friend, and I loved it so much that, well, I never really planned to come back actually, but it was always in the back of my mind how much I loved Australia. And then fast forward, so yeah, I moved to Bali in February 2022, and then in June or July 2022, I think it was July, I was like, right, I'm running out of money. I'm not making enough money or like any money from my travel blog because it all just started. And I didn't want to go back to England. It's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to like stay out there. And so I met this girl whilst traveling in Vietnam, and she was like, why don't you come and visit my family in Australia? And in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, you know, I've always wanted to go back. I really loved it there. It was a good place to work because the money, the wage is great. And I thought, do you know what? Why not? So I guess it was kind of just like the way the wind was blowing that day. That's how I ended up moving to Australia. So I spent a week with her in Melbourne, freezing cold. I only had like one jumper, I had shorts, I had t-shirts, I had like linen trousers, but I didn't have any like jumpers, jeans, I didn't have a coat, and it was freezing winter in Melbourne. Then I went to Brisbane. I didn't intend to stay there. I was actually going to, I was on the way to Bundaberg to work on a farm picking lettuce, but I ended up just staying in Brisbane because some people I met in the hostel was like, don't go to Bundaberg, like it's not a good place. Like they're gonna rip you off, they're gonna like pay you next to nothing and make you work so hard. And also lettuce is like a crop that grows in the ground, so you're gonna have to like hurt your back. Yes, that's how I came about. So I was living in Brisbane for 7 months. Then it was kind of like time where I thought, right, I'm gonna have to start thinking about my visa. So I ended up moving to rural Queensland, and I was there for 9 months because I adored it so much, and I was earning good money. And then started working on a sailboat in the Whitsundays. It's been 2 years. I've not done a lot in those 2 years, but I have at the same time. It's a weird one. I've been living slowly. ¿Cómo está tu español? Seré honesta, mi español no está muy bien, pero yo practico con mis amigos, mis amigas y las personas en Sudamérica este años. Yo quiero practico más con mis amigos, hablas español, pero vive en Australia, no aquí. Yo no tengo amigos habla español aquí. Está bien, yo practico hablas de China ahora con mi familia. Y yo no sé, yo quiero estudiar más. Yo quiero practico y estudiar más español porque yo viajero a Sudamérica después. En 1, 2, 3 años y necesito más. ¿Por qué mejor? These questions, man. Single. Are you single? You got a boyfriend? Coming to Perth? How's your family? They're good. They're really good. I am single. Yes. I'm single. Bloody hell. Ask me about my passport. I'm gonna wrap it up there, but if you have any more questions, then feel free to DM me or leave a comment down below or email me. If you fancy, send me an email. But before I go, I just wanted to touch base again on my membership. Like I mentioned before, I have now started YouTube memberships, which I'm very excited for. When YouTube said to me, Soph, you want to start these subscriptions? I was like, hell yeah. Thank you. So if you want to support my content creation journey, if you want some exclusive behind the scenes, if you want a backstage pass to my life, then get on board and join as a member. You get a badge, you get early access to my content, you know, there's lots of cool stuff there, and you'll be a part of my family. So big love. Also, shout out to Elle Davido and Connor Dixon, my first 2 members. So thank you very much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you so much for watching this Q&A. I hope I don't know if you found it interesting. But yeah, thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.